I'm going to be doing a little bit more on hands and the four types of hands. Some of the displays I'm using deal with some of these palmistry cards, which I found are pretty expressive. And it goes into hand settings. It also goes into the what I've always said in class. I noticed that they have the same belief in these cards that there's four types of hands. When you read the old palmistry books, they talk about elemental hands, spatulate hands, square hands, conical hands, and so forth. But actually, I always break it down into four types of hands, which are the elements, and I'll go over that. One is the earth hand, which is kind of square, and it has short fingers. And a lot of times when somebody has this type of hands, they'll get the earth signs have a major role in their life, which is Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. And they have short fingers with a square palm. And the air hands have a short palm and long fingers. And they're very intellectual types. Usually you find the air hands are people that like to read and study, and they don't have any problem reading books, and they're pretty literate, and they enjoy reading. And you're dealing with Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius coming into their lives. And then you have the fire hand, which is the long palm with the short hands. And it draws people like Leos, Aries, and Sagittarius into their life in a major way. And then you have the water hand, which is a long palm and also long fingers. So it has both propensities. And it draws water signs into the life, Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. But just to look from the palmistry cards, which I was saying before, it's an interesting example. Like this is the fire hand, long palm, short fingers. Fire hands are very emotional, and they value their life experience besides drawing fire signs into their hand. Then you have the air hand, which I said are intellectual. They usually like to read. It's a short palm with long fingers. And they would draw the air signs, the Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra, and things like that. Now, then you have the water signs, and the water hand, which is long hand, long fingers. In other words, it gives a very interesting appearance. And a lot of times, if a hand like this has a lot of little lines, it goes in, it starts becoming a psychic hand with long palm, long fingers, and it becomes what we call a psychic type. And then you have the earth type, which is square, short hands, short palms, I should say, and short fingers. Now, there's two other factors. The way the thumb is set, like this is a low set thumb, and this is a high set thumb. The low set thumb is usually very practical. They're very mechanical type of people, and they're very good at doing physical things. And the short set and the high set thumb is considered more intellectual. And Cairo, who wrote a lot of books on palmistry, he said if they had a very, very low set thumb, they were closer to the brute, but that was his opinion. Another factor is when you cross your two hands together, like in this case, the left thumb is on top, that means the person's very intuitive, very emotional, very creative type. If the right thumb was on top, they're more practical. They're more analytical. They're more mundane in their thinking. That doesn't mean bad or weak. It just means that they're very practical and analytical. They're not very imaginative and creative type. So when you see the left thumb on top, they're more of the creative type. So what we have is the four basic hands. This is how you can tell one from the other. Short palm, short fingers, earth. Short palm, long fingers, air. Long palm, short fingers, fire. And so forth. Long palm, long fingers, water. And it's a basic way of putting it. In this fashion, you can tell one from the other pretty quickly. And even with the 4, which is simplified, it's sometimes hard to differentiate between one and the other. But it's better than looking for 7 or 8 because they're almost impossible to really evaluate. Maybe when they were pure types, there was just Germans in Germany, Polish in Poland, and whatever. It was easy to distinguish one hand from another, but today with mixed cultures and everything, you have a mixture of types, and you want to at least figure out 1 of 4 what category they probably fit into, and it's an interesting way of looking at it.